Good afternoon, everyone. Today, when my topic is stories, I better start with one. This one's begins in my house. The year was 2023. I was packing my bags for my international work travel when my mom entered the room and told me, "Are you sure you want to go to Russia? Do people come back after going to Russia?" This was also the time when my friends were laughing about my work travel. They were saying, "Don't they have spy in the country?" We were all laughing about this. But under this was a palpable sense of fear because of the stories that we have heard around this country. But then I am in Moscow walking in the streets and learning they got a culture, they have nationalism in their blood. I spoke to people using Google Translate and I understood that the country was nothing like the stories I'd heard around it. Cut to a different work trip. This time, I was traveling to the country where everyone wants to go, legally or illegally. I was going to the land which is given as superheroes. I was excited. But then I was in middle of an election, in middle of political rallies where politicians were trying to woo the voters. This was the presidential elections. But in the middle of it, I could see their problems around gun violence, around drug abuse. I could see the cracks in the oldest democracy. My friend, this is not a tourism pitch. Go wherever you want to. This is my lived experience on how the stories, what I've heard about this country, and how different were the realities. The narratives can be very different from the actual country. And that's why I chose this topic around narratives or importance of stories in geopolitics. Narratives can sometimes be bigger than countries' realities. They are bigger than facts, bigger than economies, and they can shape policies. And this is what I've learned in my 10 years of career as a journalist, talking from farmers to politicians to entrepreneurs and to people from different walks of life. Now let's come to our story. I remember a distinct phone call, okay? It was from an international colleague who asked me, "What's your side of the story?" And to give you the background, this was the time when 26 civilians were killed in Pahalgam. This was followed by Operation Sindoor, a targeted attack on the terrorist camps in Pakistan. One battle was fought on the field, on the borders, and the other war was of narratives. I had to share our side of the story. And in a few days, we could see the Indian government sending a delegation from America to Africa, not with weapons, not with missiles, but with stories. Stories of what we did, what we stand for, and what our country has to do with it. Today, I think the challenge that we are facing is our global perception. What is the kind of stories that are circulated about us, and what is our reality? We can be the largest democracy, we can be the youngest country in the world, but there can be different stories that we read about us. And I leave it on you to decide which stories to go for. All I'm trying to do is to bring you out of your echo chamber and give you the other side of the stories. Okay? You can read the headlines, the Western perception on what we did and who we are. Here's some more. How can I ignore them? why all stories are fiction, but some are more real? Because this is what we started learning since we were in school. Remember this map? We all had our geography, atlas book. But this is also a story. This is not reality. Let me tell you why. Look, the color you see in the pink are the real geographical map, and the one you see in blue is what is shown to us. Some countries added the advantage even when it comes to the maps, even when it comes to the geography. And the stories of African countries are not represented well, even in our history books or even in our maps, which we follow till date. And that's why stories are important in life or in geopolitics. Let's go somewhere ahead. Take a moment to see these faces. You know, these are faces, these are people like you and me, people with dreams, people who wanted to do good for themselves, for their families. But they couldn't because all of them were killed. They were murdered with no fault of theirs. They are all civilians. My friend, I'm talking about Cambodian genocide. And I'll tell you why I'm talking about Cambodian genocide. Because we've heard about what Hitler did. We know what happened in Germany. We know what happened in Europe. But we don't know what happened in our backyard. We don't know what happened in our neighborhood. Look, this happens when you don't tell your story. History is not kind to people who do not take charge of the story, and this is an example. This is Mr. Pol Pot. He was behind the Cambodian genocide. And you know why he killed people? You're laughing? You're gone. It looks like you're crying. You need to be killed. Or that friend in the back, you're wearing specs, you definitely need to be killed. This is how the regime operated. This was this modus operandi in running the country. They call it development. Here, silence is also a narrative. When you don't speak about your story, means someone else will. Or you will get unnoticed in the history. And that's what happened to them. And that's why their case study, their lives, their story matters today. Up next. How can I talk about geopolitics and not mention about the wars that are going on today? Russia calls it a war against NATO. Ukraine calls it a war against their sovereignty. European Union says Russia is the bad guy. America, they say, your problem, not mine. But let's understand, how are Ukrainians fighting? You know, there is a war going on borders, but there is a narrative war. And that war is fought with memes. You can see, check this handle, you know, Ukrainian meme force. And this is how they reply. This is how they communicate. This is how they make the political, the big things, the big statements into a language that Gen Z can understand, communicate, and it can bring the fire in their veins. Let's see some more. This is when, Mrs. Zelensky met American president. And there's so many of them you can find on the page. And this is how people are fighting, not through missiles or guns or bombs. They're fighting through memes. And it is directly or indirectly shaping geopolitics and policies. Narratives, हवा में बातें नहीं है यार. Narratives are just a form to present what's happening on ground. And you share your own stories. Because narratives and stories can shape policies, justify sanctions, build alliances, and it can topple a government, like we just saw in our neighboring country, Nepal. Why do I take this personally? Very good question. Look, my life has all masala to be a Bollywood blockbuster, okay? I come from a small town, a humble family. I had to travel 30 kilometers to reach my school. I'm the college dropout. I am the person, and I'm living that life that none in my bloodline could ever reach. I am the girl with an accent. I'm still here. And not to sound humble, at least today, but bro, this underdog is clearly winning in life. And still, I chose to say a very different story today. And the reason is a fisherman. Yes, a fisherman. So, as a journalist, I was in a coastal area of India and I was speaking to a fisherman. And he told me a story that there was a foreign survey ship coming to the shore, and the fisherman had to either allow or deny, कि हमें नहीं चाहिए. At this point, the government told the fisherman that this is for development, while the NGO people told this fisherman that they are coming to extract minerals from the coast. But you know which story the fisherman fell for? The one which said that they are coming to build a school in the village. This is how stories and narratives can have on ground impact in small villages, in countries. And that's how stories of a country can make them or break them, bring investments or bring chaos, or topple a government. And at this point, though I'm talking about big things like geopolitics, inside there's a small girl who still loves the stories that my mother and grandmother told me. Stories of Prince Charming, stories of kings and queens, stories of fairies. Because you know what stories do? Stories give you hope. And whether in life or in geopolitics, stories make you believe in things that sometimes do not exist. Stories can put you to sleep. And today, I hope you all fall for the right kind of stories. Or something even better, I hope you write your own. And here, there's a little plan of action that today I'm not just here to talk about the story, but I hope if there is one thing you take home from this conversation, from this talk, then it is about narrative literacy. This is what we need today. Whenever you hear a story, just understand that who benefits from the story, who is presented as a victim or as a hero from that story, what can be verified independently. Because these things are important, because life is full of stories. And today, you just heard one. Thank you so much.